Hi, welcome. I'm trying to learn histology. Today, aging and the integumentary system. And after we've done this, we're gonna do short impingement training. And if you participate in the short impingement training, then it's better on this. At about the 6th month of fetal development, secretions from sebaceous glands mix with slot of epidermal cells and hairs to form a fatty substance called vernix caseosa. This substance covers and protects the skin of a fetus from a constant exposure to the amniotic fluid in which it is bathed. Okay, in the 6th month during pregnancy, the fetus starts to form through a mixing of the sebaceous glands with a slot of epidermal cells and hairs, something called vernix caseosa, protecting it against the amniotic fluid in uterus. In addition, the vernix caseosa facilitates. Okay, we're talking about internal anatomy. In addition, the vernix caseosa facilitates the birth of a fetus because of its slippery nature. For most infants and children, relatively few problems are encountered with the skin as it ages. Okay, that vernix caseosa helps also by the birthing process, and most infants and children have only few problems with the skin during their aging. With the arrival of adolescence, however, some teens develop acne. The pronounced effects of skin aging do not become noticeable until people reach their late 40s. Most of the age-related changes occur in the dermis. Collagen fibers in the dermis begin to decrease in numbers, stiffen, break apart, and disorganize into a shapeless matted tangle. Okay, in the dermis, in the skin, we have collagen fibers, and they start to get too stiff, to break apart, and to be disorganized. Elastic fibers lose some of their elasticity, thicken into clumps, and fray, an effect that is greatly accelerated in the skin of smokers. Okay, and the collagen fibers, they are decreasing in the number, they're getting stiff, break apart, and get disorganized. And the elastic fibers lose elasticity and thicken into clumps and fray, and that is greatly accelerated by smoking. Fibroblasts, which produce both the collagen and the elastic fiber, decrease in number. Is it additionally or is it cause? I think that's additionally. Fibroblasts, which produce both collagen and elastic fibers, decrease in number. So there are less fibroblasts which would produce them, the collagen and elastic fibers. As a result, the skin forms the characteristic surfaces and furrows known as wrinkles. So the skin starts to wrinkle because there are less fibroblasts which will produce collagen and elastic fibers, and all over the number of collagen fibers gets lower. They're getting also stiff, break apart, and get disorganized. And the elastic fibers will lose their elasticity and thicken into clumps and fray. Now, that thing with breaking apart, getting disorganized, thickening into clumps, what is the reason of it? How fast would they be produced? Is it a production problem? Because it seems to me that they stiffen and break apart and get disorganized. It has nothing to do with a proper production. What is causing that? Okay, with further aging, Langerhans cells dwindle in number. They're actually cells with that name. Okay, there are cells with the name Langerhans, and they dwindle. I don't know what dwindle means. In number. And macrophages become less efficient phagocytes, thus decreasing the skin's immune responsiveness. Okay, let's do it again. Now, during the further aging, the Langerhans cells, I don't know what dwindle means. They're doing with a number. They are either more or less or whatever. And also the macrophages become less efficient phagocytes, and therefore decreasing the skin's immune responsiveness. So the skin cannot react quickly because the macrophages became less efficient. I want to go back to this part here. I want to know why we become disorganized, the collagen fibers. I want to know, I want to go to that point. Moreover, decreased size of sebaceous glands leads to dry and broken skin that is more susceptible to infection. Okay. Let's see it again. Moreover, decreased size of sebaceous glands lead to dry and broken skin that is more susceptible to infection. Okay, the sebaceous glands, they decrease in size. Again, that leading to dry and broken skin. And that makes it more easier for infections. Production of sweat diminishes, so people produce less sweat, which probably contributes. It adds to it. Contributes to the increased incidence of heat. Okay, that is good. The production of sweat is lesser, and therefore elder people who have longer aged are more likely to get a heat stroke. They sweat less. So is this one reason? Yeah, that's an idea. But it doesn't really work with the explanation here, but it's just less sweat. And I cannot grasp the idea. So I try to grasp, but I cannot grasp the idea. Oh, I see what you mean. There is a decrease in the number of functioning melanocytes, resulting in grey hair and atypical skin pigmentation. They are less functioning melanocytes. Now the other question with collagens, the fibrous collagens and elastic collagens, how often are they produced normally? Why do we get disorganized? That doesn't really make sense. Now the melanocytes there are many who don't work anymore, and that results in grey hair and also in pigmentation, which is atypical of the skin. An increase in the size of some melanocytes produces pigmented blotching liver spots. Okay, melanocytes can increase in size, and then that can lead to something called liver spots. Walls of blood vessels in the dermis become thicker and less permeable, and subcutaneous fat is lost. Let's do it again. Walls of the blood vessel dermis become thicker. The walls become thicker. It would somehow make sense if it would become the other thing. If it becomes smaller and less permeable. I don't know what it means. Okay, the blood vessels walls are also not so good. And subcutaneous fat is lost, but people lose subcutaneous fat. For this reason, aged skin, especially the dermis, is thinner than young skin. And the migration of cells from the basal layer to the epidermal surface slows considerably. Why is it slow when it's thinner? Okay, for some reason, skin which has aged is thinner, and the cells which are migrating from the lower basal layer to the epidermal surface are slower in doing that. With the onset of old age, so that people have aged even longer, skin heals poorly and becomes more susceptible to pathological conditions such as skin cancer, itching, and pressure sores. What was the reason? Skin heals, no reason there, okay. But the skin after having aged longer heals badly and is more likely to get pathological conditions such as skin cancer and itching and pressure sores. Growth of nails and hair slows during the second and third decades of life, so hair and nail grow slower. The nails also may become more brittle with age, often due to dehydration or repeated use of cuticle remover or nail polish. Okay, the hair and nail grows slower, and the nails also become more brittle, which is often due to dehydration. Okay, this was the histology part. If you're here for histology, you can go directly to the next part of histology. If you're here for what we're doing, short and training. If you're participating in the short and training, it's better here for risk. We're standing on the table and we're doing shoulder circuits. From back, front and down. Back, front and down, and no backwards. Front, back and down. And now long arms, strong fists, and go as far back as you can with the shoulders. Front, down, back, front, and down, and again. High up, back, down, and front, up, back, and down. And now to the side of the arms, a bit in front, bring the arms in front. No, let's think for a second. This is not the exercise we're doing right now. We're doing another exercise. We're doing first the accelerating motorcycles. We're going into the knees, ranging forward to the straight back, with the arms in, and we're pinching the scapulas together. Make fists and pinch the scapulas together. Arms down, shoulders down, and never down. Pinch the scapulas together. Make fists, lift the arms up and pinch the scapulas together. Arms down, shoulders down. Never different exercise. The sheet jumper. End of the knees, hinge over, pop forward. With a round back, lift the arms in, make fists, turn the arms to the inside. Lift the arms high up and bring them together. Straighten up, bring your shoulders down, hand together. So arms high up, and bring your shoulders down, hand together. And again, end of the knees, hinge forward with a round back, lift the arms in, make fists, turn the arms to the inside. Arms high up and together. Straighten up, bring the shoulders down, and together. So, shoulders high up, arms high up, and together, shoulders down. Next exercise, lift the arms up, and again down. If this or any other exercise causes pain, then down to it. And arms to the sides and in front. And no. No forward lift up. Long arms, strong fists, down with the shoulders together, turn the arms to the inside. Arms to the outside, shoulders down together. And arms to the inside, shoulders down and together. Arms to the outside, shoulders down and together. And now the arms up, a bit in front, arms in front, shoulders down together. Arms back, shoulders in front. Arms in front, shoulders back and down together. Arms back, shoulders up and in front. And release. A shrug. Lift the arms up, shoulders up and down. Arms up, shoulders up, and go down. And now we'll circle arms together, and down and to the outside. And down and together, and down and to the outside. And another time. And now with Sunday. You can use a sock or something else. Have it with the lower with the outside. Let it fall down and try to catch it. And on the other side. No stretching. One arm in front. Let's take it easy. Today. Pull it just in. And the other arm. Hold it in front. That was a short attention. I thank you very much and until next time.